Hello there and welcome back to the channel. If you don't know me, my name's David and I'm a great advocate for something called car camping, or if you will, micro camping. I travel about throughout the year visiting different campsites and places and things of interest that just tickles my fancy. I also like to make a few adaptations to my vehicle to make camping that little bit more pleasurable, and I like to share them with everybody else. It's January. The weather over the past week has been horrendous. We've had snow, rain, wind, everything has hit us. In fact, now it's still blowing a gale and it's trying to rain. I haven't felt the urge to go off anywhere, but as it is, I've got to say my car's let me down. Now, car camping, you use whatever you've got. If you've got, being an old person, a Ford Cortina, but you know what I mean, an old car, or a modern car, but a car, then that's fine. If you can happily sleep in the back comfortably, get a good night's sleep, have something to eat, then it's the bee's knees. If you were to sleep in a tent, it'd probably blow away in the middle of the night, whereas in one of these things you wouldn't even notice. However, I prefer these things, MPVs, multi-purpose vehicles, but you use what you've got. These come in all shapes and sizes, but all different makes. Fords make them, Vauxhall make them, Fiat, Citroen, VW, you name it, they're all out there being made. Now, there are problems from time to time, and I've had a problem. And today, this old girl is going into the garage. Why, I hear you ask? Well, it's all down to this stuff. Adblue. Whatever you do, never, ever buy a model which uses Adblue. They're prone to all sorts of problems. In the old days, you go under the bonnet, there's your alternator, your engine, your starter motor, your battery, few fuses, and you're away. These things are full of more sensors than a space shuttle. Consequently, the Adblue system is forever playing up. If you don't put enough Adblue in, it plays up. If you put too much in, it plays up. There's more warning lights going on than soft make, so it's going into the garage, and that's where I'm off now. Before I set off, and before I forget to tell you, first of all, like, subscribe, comment, the rest of it all, but more importantly, stick to the end of this video because I've got another really useful top winter tip. Right then, where am I today? Well, if you're travelling down the coast of North Wales, you might take this road across the estuary from Penrhyn in the direction of Harlech. Some people might remember this road as it used to be one of those strange toll roads you used to find a lot of in Wales. Fortunately, with recent road improvements, all that has now gone. The new road, in good weather, provides beautiful views both up the estuary and out to sea, where in the distance you can just about make out Portmeirion. Beside the road is the garage where I'm dropping off my car, which is why the majority of drivers speed by and miss this little gem. Okay guys, I've dropped the car off at the garage, and with my wallet bracing itself for another 400 or 500 quid bill, I've gone for a walk. Round the back of the garage is this rather wonderful nature reserve. Now, me taking you to a nature reserve is nothing unusual. I'm forever showing you things like badgers and seals and the like. But I've brought you to this nature reserve not to show you wildlife. Why are we here? Well, it's what this place used to be. This is a rather strange nature reserve that during the Second World War produced about 7 million hand grenades. At first glance, this place seems rather unremarkable until you start looking at pieces of wall like this. They're dotted all around the site. And when you get up close to them, you discover that they aren't really stone. They're petrified sandbags. The geology of this site is rather wonderful in that it's rather like the fingers of my hand. in that you have, within this small site, lots and lots of little valleys. This makes it ideal when you're making explosives. If your little shed here is full of dynamite and it goes boom, it doesn't tend to make this one in this little valley go boom and the like. And also it's a good distance from the houses down the road. Penryn or Pendrundreath, or no, Penrundreath. My Welsh is terrible. I am from Yorkshire after all. It may look a little uninspiring on a day like today, but trust me, when the sun comes out, this is a really pleasant place to walk, with nature in abundance. I'm told if you are really lucky, you might even see an otter. It is, I guess, what you'd call a brown field site, as this is what it used to look like. Gwaith Powdwr is a decommissioned explosive works, now managed as a local nature reserve by the North Wales Wildlife Trust. The explosive factory was initially opened in 1865 and changed hands several times before being bought by Ralph Cook in 1922. He renamed the site Cook's Explosives, and the factory became a noted production plant for providing materials used in the local slate quarries and the mining industry. During the Second World War, it switched to munitions and produced more than 17 million grenades. Cook retired in 1955 and the site was taken over by a partner company, ICI, until its closure in 1995. Several accidents occurred at the site, including explosions in 1957 and 1988, which killed 6 workers in total and caused damage to many local buildings. Well, Chester is chomping at the bit for us to get out on our walk, so let's see what we can find of the old works. This place looks totally different in spring and summer, by the way, when there's masses of wild flowers, which makes the place well worth a visit. And if the thought has occurred to you that there may be some chemicals lurking about, this site was cleared up before making it into a nature reserve. Exploring will allow you to discover many of these buildings dotted around, now repurposed, providing roosts and nesting sites for owls and bats. Peering in the windows of this strange small shed provides a glimpse of what appears to be a winch, though I'm unsure if it pulled materials up the slope on tracks or in the air via an aerial pulley system. These explosive sheds incorporated many safety features. They had lead floors to prevent sparks, and alongside the outer walls, which were made up of earth and sandbags, the roofs were left floating so that any blast would be directed upward rather than out. I'm not really sure how many of these buildings still exist on the site, but Chester is enjoying the walk. Though they all follow a similar design, deterioration due to time has provided unique windows into how and why the sheds were built the way they were. As we explore ever upward, and yes, they have provided seats for those of us wanting to catch our breath, the trees open up to a more moorland type habitat and provide great views out across the surrounding countryside. At the very top of the site is this rather strange looking shed. Safely away from the rest of the buildings and made just of timber, this is where the strength of the explosives was tested to ensure the mix was correct. You can look in through the door to view a wooden facsimile of what I presume is a cannon, and the original huge pendulum, which would be shot back to indicate how strong the explosives were. I hope they were wearing some kind of ear protection. At its height, around 500 people were employed at the works, with buses ferrying people from all around the area, so you can imagine its eventual closure had a massive effect on the local economy. Not to be forgotten, there are a number of memorials around the reserve to commemorate Cooks and the people who worked there and those who lost their lives. This nature reserve demonstrates that no matter the industry, be it a factory or even a chemical works like this, given time, nature will take it all back and change what was a very torn landscape back into something quite beautiful. And though I'm glad they have left something of the history of the site and its people, thankfully, nature always wins in the end. Forgive me if I don't look too comfortable. I'm sat in the back of the car, but it's not set up in camping mode. Yeah. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that walk around Gwaith, Powdwr. I'm trying to pronounce it properly. The little nature reserve. I do like a bit of industrial archaeology, and to have one with that, it's something totally different. I mean, a place that makes hand grenades. There's so much of it left behind, so it's a really nice walk. It's a very pleasant walk, and as you can see, I walked around with the dog. Dog was on the lead, though. There was a lot of sheep about this time. Right, moving on. Some of you may be wondering how much the repairs cost. I predicted somewhere between £400 and £500, and it came to £420, which, believe you me, is dirt cheap. Don't go for Adblue. Please, if you haven't already, think about subscribing. I try and put these out every 2 weeks. They go on about Friday lunchtime, and one or two other films on in between. I'm trying to promote car camping, micro camping to the general populace, to those who perhaps have been blown away in their tents. Anyhow, moving on, I did promise one of my winter top tips. Many of you will remember these. These have arrived up on the scene a couple of years ago. The long sleeping bags. Sorry, not long sleeping bags. Long hot water bottles, but they're really good for sticking in your sleeping bags, obviously. Right. But I haven't thrown away the old ones. I don't know about you, but I don't tend to sleep fully dressed in my sleeping bag. I get a lot better night's sleep, disrobing to a degree. Perhaps not the pink and crinklies, but certainly not woolly jumpers and jackets, etc. But I have found in the morning that when I've got up, the clothing's always a little bit damp, not very pleasant to put on. So I've come up with this idea. I don't know if you recognise this. This is one of those insulated bags. They're about £6 or something. You can put them in your car and go and collect your takeaway and fetch your takeaway home, and it keeps it nice and warm. So what I've discovered is, take your clothes, put them in the bag, or some of them. Take your filled hot water bottle. I mean, if you're going to fill the other one for sleeping in, put in your sleeping bag, you might as well fill this one as well. So you put this one in the bag and the rest of your clothes on top. Zip it up so it's all nice and secure. And then in the morning, I sit up, reach over, turn the heating on for 5 minutes, open the bag, get my gear out, and it's really nice to put on. So there you are. It's as simple as that. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.